Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive. Today we're tackling the concept of success.
And we've got some seriously insightful guides for this journey.
We'll be exploring two incredibly popular books. First, Mindset, The New Psychology of Success by Dweck.
Yeah, to shake things up, we'll also be looking at You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero.
Two very different approaches to success, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Dweck, coming from a psychology background, she really digs into, the science.
The nitty-gritty.
Yeah, the nitty-gritty of fixed versus growth mindsets.
And how those mindsets affect our ability to learn and achieve our goals.
And then Sincero, well, she brings this super motivational, almost like rebellious energy to the table.
Empowering stuff.
Yeah, helping us, identify and smash those limiting beliefs holding us back. But before we go any further, can we break down these mindsets?
Sure.
What do we actually mean by fixed versus growth?
Okay, so with a fixed mindset, you believe your abilities are basically set in stone.
Like you're either born with it or you're not.
Yeah, you got it. You're either smart or talented or you are not.
So you're kind of trapped.
Right. You avoid challenges because you're afraid of failing and, looking bad.
Okay.
Which stems from that fixed mindset.
So they're protecting their ego, I guess.
Absolutely. Now think about growth mindset. Someone with a growth mindset, they see challenges as, well, opportunities. Opportunities to learn and grow.
So a chance to get better, kind of like Christopher Reeve, right?
Yes. Perfect example.
His story after the accident is just, wow.
Inspiring, isn't it? Doctors told him, he might never regain movement below his neck.
Yeah.
But Christopher Reeve, he refused to accept that.
He had that fire in him.
Oh, yeah. He embraced this intense physical therapy program.
Really pushing his limits.
Constantly pushing, yeah. He even regained some sensation, some movement, defying those initial predictions.
But it's so powerful because it wasn't just positive thinking.
Yeah.
It was active work, creating new neural pathways. It really shows you what neuroplasticity can do.
Precisely. And Dweck's research, it goes way beyond those anecdotes. She conducted studies with children and found that praising effort versus intelligence actually fostered a growth mindset.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it improved their performance.
So how we praise kids matters a lot.
It really does. In one study, kids who were praised for effort, they chose more challenging tasks.
Oh, wow.
While those praised for intelligence, they stuck to the easier stuff.
Interesting. To keep that smart label.
Exactly.
So we, as parents and educators, we might be sending, the wrong message about success without realizing it.
It happens all the time. Both Dweck and Sincero, they caution against praising kids solely for their intelligence.
Okay, so what should we focus on?
Focus on the effort, the strategies they use, the perseverance.
So instead of, you're so smart, maybe something like, wow, I'm so impressed with how hard you worked on that. You learned so much.
That's it. Now, Dweck actually shares this story about a young gymnast,
Okay.
Elizabeth. Tough time at her first competition.
That's rough.
Made a mistake, and her parents, trying to comfort her, they said things like, oh, the judges were so unfair, or don't worry, gymnastics isn't that important, trying to make her feel better.
Yeah, I can see them wanting to shield her from the disappointment.
Absolutely. But those comments, even though they're well-intentioned, they actually reinforce a fixed mindset.
How so?
Well, they send the message that failure's something to be avoided at all costs, even if it means dismissing the whole activity.
So it's minimizing her experience instead of helping her learn from it.
Exactly. It undermines her agency. Now, this is where Sincero's concept of the big snooze comes in.
The big snooze.
Yeah, it's that inner voice of resistance, that fear of failure and judgment that keeps us stuck in our comfort zones.
We hit the snooze button on our own potential.
That's it. Just like Sincero almost did when she let fear get to her while bowling, almost took a nasty fall.
Wow.
Yeah, sometimes our beliefs really can sabotage us, even in the smallest things. So the question is, how do we wake up from this big snooze? And that's where things get really interesting. And Sincero has this great way of explaining it. She calls it our self-perception zoo.
Or what?
Yeah, self-perception zoo. It's like, we all have this collection of beliefs about ourselves.
Right.
Some are helpful.
Yeah.
Some, well, not so much.
No, I get it. Yeah.
It's like we're all carrying these cages full of thoughts that limit us.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
So what do we do with this zoo?
Well, often we don't even realize how these beliefs are shaping our actions, right?
Right.
Sincero suggests, using affirmations to rewrite those negative scripts. choosing more empowering language.
Affirmations. See, I've tried those before.
Yeah.
Sometimes they feel a little, I don't know, cheesy.
Cheesy. Yeah.
Like, am I really supposed to stand in the mirror and be like, I'm amazing, even if I don't feel it?
I know. It can feel awkward at first. But think about it. Our brains are constantly forming these neural pathways based on our thoughts and behaviors, right?
Yeah.
So by repeating affirmations, even if they feel forced, we're actually rewiring our brains for a more positive self-image.
So it's not about denying our current reality. It's more like planting seeds for the reality we want.
Exactly. It's like tending a garden. You got to weed out those negative thoughts and nurture the positive ones.
Okay, I like that.
And it goes beyond just the affirmations, you know. Sincero talks about surrounding yourself with supportive people,
Yeah.
ditching that self-deprecating humor, and learning to actually receive compliments.
Oh, that's a tough one for me.
It can be, yeah. But those are such great tips. But let's be real, sometimes those beliefs are so deeply ingrained that affirmations alone aren't enough.
What's the next level then?
Sincero believes forgiveness is key. And I don't just mean forgiving others, but forgiving ourselves.
Well, forgiving ourselves. That's a tough one. It's so easy to get stuck in that, like, self-blame cycle.
It is. It's like carrying around this heavy backpack full of guilt and shame. Sincero puts it pretty bluntly. She says, holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
It only hurts us in the long run.
So forgiveness is about, like, letting go of that baggage so we can actually move forward.
Yes, exactly. And both Dweck and Sincero, they really emphasize the importance of taking action. You can't just think about changing your mindset. You have to, like, actually put it into practice.
Sincero has that story about the car, right?
Yeah.
She was going to settle for that practical Honda,
The Honda.
but then realized it just reflected her old beliefs about money.
And she ended up getting the Audi, the one she actually wanted.
The one she really wanted, yeah.
It pushed her to achieve a bigger financial goal.
That's so cool. So action comes before belief, sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. It's like you take that leap of faith and then you start trusting yourself more.
Yeah.
Trusting your ability to create the life you want.
It all starts with that first step, huh?
It does. And action doesn't have to be this huge, grand gesture.
Right.
It can be small things, like setting achievable goals.
Okay.
Maybe seeking out new learning experiences.
Yeah.
Or even just paying attention to your self-talk.
Yeah.
Choosing better words.
Like being mindful of what we're telling ourselves.
Exactly. Small, consistent steps, they add up.
And I imagine both authors would agree, growth isn't always a straight line.
Oh, definitely not. There are setbacks, challenges, moments when you just want to quit.
Oh, yeah. Been there.
But it's about having that resilience to keep going.
Keep learning.
Keep learning. Adjust your course.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. And this is where, gratitude comes in. Sincere is a huge advocate for practicing gratitude daily.
Oh, yeah. Gratitude. What about it?
Not just for the big things, but for those small, everyday moments, too. The things that bring us joy.
Okay.
It shifts our focus, right,
Yeah.
from what we lack to what we have.
It's like a superpower.
It is. It really is. And it strengthens our faith, that belief in what's possible, even when we don't have all the answers.
Okay, so as we're kind of moving forward here, what are some key takeaways our listeners can start using in their own lives?
Well, first, cultivate that growth mindset, right?
Okay.
Embrace challenges as opportunities. Seek feedback. Celebrate the effort, not just the outcome. And remember, setbacks are going to happen, but they don't define you.
And to add to that, I think Sincero would say, ditch those limiting beliefs.
Yes.
Practice self-love, forgiveness, gratitude. Take action, even if it's scary, and surround yourself with people who support you.
Absolutely. And most importantly, have fun on this journey.
Yeah. Don't forget to have fun.
Now, Dweck makes this interesting point about negative emotion.
Negative emotion.
Like frustration, disappointment, even those can be valuable from a growth mindset perspective.
Oh, that's interesting. Usually we try to avoid those feelings, right?
We do, yeah. We see them as like weakness or failure. But Dweck suggests we reframe those experiences. Instead of viewing frustration as a roadblock, see it as a signal that you're pushing yourself.
So it's not a bad thing.
Not necessarily. You're stretching your abilities, you're learning.
So lean into those uncomfortable emotions.
Exactly. It's in those moments of struggle that we can really grow.
Makes sense. If you're never challenged, you're never growing.
Right, like lifting weights, no pain, no gain.
So how about failure? We've all been there.
Oh, yeah?
With a fixed mindset, it's like proof that we're not good enough.
Right. But from a growth mindset, failure is feedback.
Ah, okay.
It's an opportunity to analyze, to improve, adjust our strategies. Remember Thomas Edison?
Oh, yeah.
He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." He embraced those failures as steps closer to success.
He was always learning, always iterating.
Exactly. And this applies not just to, personal growth, but to relationships too, as Dweck points out.
Relationships, how so?
Well, she challenges that idea that successful relationships should be effortless.
Ah, okay.
With a fixed mindset, conflict can be seen as a sign of incompatibility.
So are you saying that arguments can actually be good for a relationship?
From a growth perspective, yeah. Those disagreements become opportunities for deeper understanding. You learn to communicate
You
better.
build a stronger foundation as a couple.
Exactly. Of course, this doesn't mean all relationships are meant to last forever.
Right.
But even in the ones that end, there are lessons to be learned.
You grow from those experiences.
It's about becoming the best version of ourselves within a relationship.
So true. Now, what about the workplace? How does this apply there?
In a fixed mindset workplace, mistakes are a big no-no, right?
You don't want to mess up.
But in a growth-oriented environment, mistakes are seen as learning opportunities,
So it's okay to make mistakes.
as long as you learn from them.
Okay, I can see that.
It's about fostering a culture where everyone feels safe to speak up, share ideas, contribute to the growth of the company.
It's a team effort.
It is. Imagine if we applied this mindset to society as a whole. What if we focused on nurturing potential instead of judging?
That's a powerful thought, seeing challenges as collective learning opportunities.
Exactly. But it starts with each of us embracing this growth mindset in our own lives.
We have to be the change we want to see.
Absolutely. Now, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave you with a question from Dweck.
So much to unpack with this whole growth mindset thing.
Oh.
But before we wrap up, I want to circle back to some of the ideas in Sincero's book, You Are a Badass.
Yeah, good one.
She talks a lot about the power of our subconscious, right?
Absolutely. Sincero argues that those subconscious beliefs we have, often formed way back in childhood,
Yeah.
they can either, propel us forward
Oh, yeah.
or totally sabotage us. He
Right.
calls them the blueprint for our lives.
Okay, so if we're walking around with a blueprint full of limiting beliefs,
Yeah,
it's like trying to, I don't know, build a mansion with instructions for a doghouse.
perfect analogy. And this is where that whole idea of manifestation comes in.
Manifestation, okay.
Sincero's a big believer in the idea that we can create our own reality,
Okay.
by aligning our thoughts and beliefs and actions with what we actually want.
See, this is where I get kind of tripped up. It's easy to say, think positive, but what if you're dealing with, real problems,
Right.
setbacks? How do you stay focused on your goals when life throws you curveballs?
Well, Sincero acknowledges that manifestation isn't just wishing and hoping, right?
Right.
It's about intentionally shifting your focus and energy towards what you want, becoming aware of those negative thought patterns,
Yeah.
and actively replacing them with better ones.
So you have to, consciously choose a different thought, even if it feels weird at first.
It's like retraining your brain. Think of it as a new skill. It takes practice. Sincero recommends using affirmations, visualizations, surrounding yourself with positive people
Okay.
to help make that shift.
It's kind of like what we talked about with Dweck, praising effort. Right.
Exactly. We're training our brains to focus on the good stuff, the possibilities, the growth, instead of the limitations.
And Sincero doesn't stop there. She talks about taking action too, really doing something.
Yeah. Meeting the universe halfway, putting in the work, trusting that things will fall into place.
I love how she says leap and the net will appear.
It's a good one, right? A reminder to trust the process, even when you don't have all the answers. But I get it. That leap can be scary.
Terrifying. What if the net doesn't appear?
It's natural to feel that way. Sincero actually tells this great story about her trip to India for a writing retreat.
Oh, yeah.
She was terrified of the unknown, but once she got there, the whole experience, transformed her perspective.
Sometimes you just got to say yes, even if it scares you.
Sometimes, yeah. Those opportunities, even the scary ones, they can lead to amazing growth.
New adventures.
Exactly. Sincero believes that real growth happens outside our comfort zones. But while taking leaps is important,
Yeah.
it's also about being present, enjoying the journey, not just fixating on the destination.
So find joy in the process,
Yeah,
even when it's hard.
Exactly. It's a balance, right? Striving for more, but appreciating where you are now.
I like that.
And, she also highlights how much our perception shapes our reality. She uses this analogy of a crazy bus ride in India.
Oh, I bet.
It was super overwhelming at first, but when she shifted her perspective, saw it as an adventure,
Yeah.
she actually had a good time.
It's not about denying the challenges. It's about choosing how you see them, how you respond.
Exactly. And let's not forget gratitude.
Gratitude, always important.
Sincero sees it as more than just a nice feeling. She sees it as a tool.
For manifestation.
Yeah. When you focus on what you're grateful for, your energy shifts from lack to abundance.
You start seeing the good, even when things are tough.
Precisely. Gratitude strengthens that faith, that belief in what's possible, even when you don't have all the answers.
Wow, we covered a lot today. These two books are full of wisdom. But if there was like one piece of advice our listeners could take away from all this, what would it be?
I'd say cultivate that growth mindset. Believe in yourself. Take action. Create the life you want. And remember, growth is a journey, right?
It's not a destination.
There will be ups and downs, challenges, setbacks. But if you embrace the power of your mindset, practice gratitude, take those leaps of faith, you can achieve incredible things.
And be kind to yourself along the way.
Absolutely.
Celebrate the small wins. And remember, even when you stumble, you can always get back up and keep going. This has been an amazing deep dive into mindset and success. I hope you all feel inspired to create some positive change. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.